Welcome back to Vital Signs with Jen. I am here in studio with our resident fertility expert, Jessica Preston of DeNova Fertility. Welcome back to the studio, Jessica.
Thank you for having me back, Jen.
So we are going to shift gears and talk about what is the physical and mental toll of infertility, because we've talked a lot about how do we get pregnant, how do we facilitate the process, but what we haven't talked about is the mental toll it takes and the effect it has on us, on our relationships, etc. So can you speak a little bit to that?
Yes, I'd love to. So when we talk about both mental and physical toll, let's look at our physical toll to start. So when we are in this process and we know we are experiencing infertility, we've gone through some process, we usually have been diagnosed by now. We may have been put on some medications that have caused an emotional roller coaster to cause a hormonal fluctuation. We may have gone through some invasive procedures like an HSG hysterosalpingogram to see if our tubes are open as women, the emasculating process of a semen analysis for a man, maybe even IVF, which is a process that is very regimented and clinical. So it's very much, it can be invasive, and it's kind of a process. So it's not very feeling, and it's not very emotionally supportive. All of those things, those physical aspects, can take a very significant mental toll on us. So when it comes to that mental toll, oh, this is so complex. It's so clear what we see in all of those things I just said, and what isn't clear are the things that we don't see. So when it comes to how do we process that infertility as a woman and as a man, and I feel that women feel a lot like there's something wrong with me. So from my own personal experience, something wrong with me. I am not a woman. I am not feminine. Our male partners, it's very emasculating. They can feel like they aren't a man, that they can't provide for their partner or to even have the family they want to provide for. Yes, I'm speaking in traditional role, but it is very much an inherent part of us when it comes to what we are expecting of ourselves. So when it comes to that mental toll, a lot of that makes us go internal. And so when we kind of shut down a little bit, and what do? And we don't know if we're going to go which direction. Are we going to push it down so far that we're just not going to address it and maybe miss our fertility window altogether? Or are we going to bring it all up and ruminate over it over and over and over again?
And so as people are going through this process, it's very hard for most people to talk about or to put words to what they're feeling. In society, we've been taught you don't talk about anything except the happy. We actually have toxic positivity happening right now, where you can't discuss any of the things that are troubling you. So during this process, as these people are going through these very invasive procedures during this process, their body is having a physical toll. How can they bring up this conversation? Like, what are the things that they will feel that can trigger them to, hey, I need to address this now? Maybe they've never experienced kind of the grieving or whatever feelings or emotions that they're experiencing. What are the signs? What are the telltale signs, or some ways that they can know, hey, this is something that I need to pause. This is not normal. This is not part of the healing process or the clinical side of things. I need to get help.
I think it's really important to, when we're on this journey, be in with our partner, be all in with our partner. And so keep an eye on each other, be accountable to each other, and watch for those signs. Because I think a lot of the time it's insidious and we don't see them coming. I think the majority of the time we don't see it coming, because we are all resilient in our own way. We are trying to find a way to either work through it or bypass it. That's it. So we're doing one of those things. So we don't necessarily know and see it and recognize it in ourselves. If we are that aware, that self-aware, that's beautiful. Then find a way. If you become aware of that, acknowledge that within yourself with kindness and grace. So self-love is a big part, as you hear me talk about self-love. And what I mean by that when I say self-love, because I think that can be one of those trite statements that's out there in the world right now, is really giving yourself the acknowledgement that you are worthy of all of this, and there's nothing wrong with you in wanting all of this. So one thing that we talk about a lot is, and you may have heard of, is looking at your inner child. Treat yourself in that sadness as if that is a young child or young version of yourself. And if it's hard to look at yourself, imagine it's a young child that you love, or a young child that if you see a child on the movies and your heart goes out to them, feel to this child like that. We automatically get a little protective. How can I meet that child's needs? And then look at your partner and their small child too, because they aren't necessarily looking at their own selves either. So where can we have and find the compassion within ourselves to look at the person sitting across from us who is our partner in life, to be able to say, I see you and I see you're hurting, see me and see that I'm hurting, and just sit in that space together and find a way to have that communication.
And so if we're seeing this, what does it look like outside? Like if we were, we're going through this, my partner and I are going through this, what will I see? Like, what are the differences? Like, because not everybody moves in our space. You and I are very educated in this space. So the people who are watching and listening who are going through this, like, what might they see? What changes might they see in their partner that are like, hey, are you okay?
Well, first of all, anything that seems out of character, that's a hey, are you okay? And there has to be a way to say, hey, are you okay? That isn't saying, are you okay because you're making me mad? Yeah. So it's not about me, it's about, hey, are you okay? So finding a way to say, hey, are you okay? That isn't agreed about way to say, are you okay? Just, I'm checking in. I'm not sure if you are okay or not. You seem to don't say behave. You're seeming a little different today, or I think that you might be feeling a little sad, but I might be projecting. So just let me know where you are. I'm here. That I think is very, very important to see when it comes to the other person with you. Having those open conversations is really key. I think physical touch is really key also, not just when it comes to sex and baby dancing, trying to make a baby, but when it comes to just spending time in each other's proximity and holding or touching each other. We know with both men and women, we have a release of oxytocin, which is that love hormone, which is our bonding hormone. And so what we're looking at is pair bonding. How can we further pair bond with our partner? How can we be sure we're in this together as opposed to apart? So making sure that you are experiencing those things. Pair bonding is best when it comes to acknowledging your love languages, but especially physical touch in close proximity, eye gazing, so looking in each other's eyes, laughing together, smiling together, and looking at each other. Those are very helpful as well.
As we gaze into each other's eyes.
As we gaze into each other's eyes. We're good eye contact people, though.
Yeah, so the take home that I'm hearing, and I just want to summarize this because this is very important. When you are with your partner and your partner has changed in the way their demeanor, the way they are handling their day, maybe they're not getting out of bed and there's no reason for them not getting out of bed other than they're having a moment or they're struggling with this internally, it's always a good idea to have a check-in point. Mm-hmm. If there's anything out of the normal, whatever their normal is. And for yourself, if you notice that you're not able to get up for the game. I can't get out of bed today. Nothing on earth seems to make me want to leave these covers, and it's not because it's cold and raining.
Yes. That's...
But if it's out of the ordinary, then that's a good idea to check in with ourselves as well, because those out of the ordinary things, and to me, it's the negative emotions. Like if I'm feeling frustrated with my partner, usually that's a good sign that I need to look inside of myself.
Yeah.
Like always look in the mirror first. So I just wanted to highlight that because we talked about a lot. But the real key takeaway is if your partner is not acting the way they normally do in any way, shape, or form, it's a good idea to have a check-in.
Yeah, and if I'm feeling frustrated with you, it means my needs are not being met. And so what are those? So the good check-in is, what need is that then? And if the answer is, I don't know, we do need to sit in and take a little deeper dive into our inner child and see where things are.
And if you do not know how to do that for yourself, or you and your partner cannot do that together, or you feel stuck in that way, that is an exact reason for calling someone like Jessica, because Jessica is a skilled professional in this area. She has a team of professionals who work in this area. And so, Jessica, how can people reach out? Like, what does that look like how do they know that it's time to get someone such as yourself or your team involved?
For us, you can simply call and we can help you walk through that. We want to work with you if you are a good fit for us, and if there's somewhere else you should be, we will help you find that resource. So when it comes to relationship, we have a very large relationship component in our program. We have men and women. We have on our team that work with both the men and the women. We work co-ed and separately so that we can do this kind of work on relationship. And we do exactly this relationship work. We talk about exactly this work. We don't do trauma work or trauma therapy, but we do have someone we can refer you to for that. But other than that, this is our area.
And so what I just heard is contact you no matter what, because if it's not you, you have the people who are their resources that they need. And so for those who are watching or listening, how can they get in touch with you?
We are at denovofertility.com, so you can go there and sign up for a call with one of us. You will get one of us on our team. We work as a team all together, so we would always discuss all of our people with each other and meet with you together if you decided to join one of our programs. When it comes to our social media, we're on all major social media. We're on Facebook at DeNovo Fertility Community, and we're at TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn at DeNovo Fertility.
And so before we go to commercial, are there anything that you want to close with that's really important that people consider when they're on this journey with regards to the physical and mental toll that it can take on them?
It's hard. It's really challenging, and we all know that. I've been on that same journey, and it is challenging. Take it a day at a time. Take it a breath at a time. Find the community that you need, and really try to connect with your partner. Find that way to say to each other, I'm all in, and say it regularly.
Same team, find a way to be all in on yourself, be all in with each other. I think that was very sage advice. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for all the expertise that you bring to the show. I know that people are able to take these gems of knowledge and wisdom and incorporate them. Remember that this is for educational purposes only. This is not medical advice. Please reach out to Jessica or another professional. Reach out to your practitioners for your own treatment and care, and make sure that you are in the right hands with your medical practitioners. Thank you so much for joining me today, Jessica.
Thank you so much for having me, Jen.
Absolutely, and we do have to take a brief break, but we'll be right back after these messages.